Evening all, it's Jose from El Hotel Cockerel. How are you all? Hope everyone's well. Welcome to Thursday's Mop Up Show. Looks like we've got, well, I was going to mop up on a few things, but there seems to be a bit more mopping up to do after tonight. So, right, where are we going to, what do we start the mop up with? Yeah, what do we start the mop up with? First of all, let me say hello to some people. Hi, Chris Agambar, if you're still around, nice to see you. Leo from Maha Hotspur, saludos hermano. Adrian is saying good evening, Jose Atoll. Andy, LUFC till I die. Hey, hi Andy. You got Adrian Schroker saying that West Ham and Liverpool both lost. Yeah, we're going to come to that. Graham's in. Good evening, Graham. Wayne Bonner. Wayne B's here. Good evening, Wayne. Hope you're well. Yeah, good evening to you, Wayne. I hope you're well. Big John. Good evening, Big John. Big John says Jesse Raid. Hey up, Jose, mate. Yeah, big up to you, John. Big John, as I call you. Nice man. Love your accent. Superb. Stewie saying hello. Hi, Jose. I hope you're well. I am. Tomorrow's Friday, Stu. So, yeah, it means signals the end of the week, my working week for me, in the sense of my work that I do, but I do stay logged in at weekends. But yeah, I can't wait till 4 o'clock comes tomorrow. And when 4 o'clock comes tomorrow, it's prediction show, and then I really know that this weekend's football in the Premiership and in the other leagues is upon us. And I'm waiting to see if there's going to be any twists and turns in the Premiership, in the Championship, in League One, League Two. See if anything happens from there. Daniel Lee, good evening. Let the mop up begin. Good evening, Daniel. Good evening, Destiny. Hope you're well. Good evening, Tony. Hello, mate. I hope you're well. I've just seen your result. I didn't watch any of the football tonight, but I've just seen the scores come through. So we will be touching upon some of these scores later. Good evening, Scooby. I hope you're well. I hope you're around for predictions tomorrow, Scooby, because you missed out last week. Um, Ronnie, big up, Jose. Watch West Ham. They are so bad. How did we not beat them? I didn't watch any of the football, as I just said, so I can't really say and can't really comment. I can comment on the results, but I really can't comment. I didn't watch the game, so or any of the matches tonight, for that matter. Big up, like I said. Let's smoke up Liverpool and West Ham's tears, um, and then people saying hello to each other. Um, I suppose. Okay, we might as well start with people have commented on it. We might as well start with. Oh, Shimtam. Hello, Jose Lacelso. Jose Lacelso. Hope you're well. What the heck happened to Liverpool tonight? And wow, right. So again, I'm going to tell you people, I didn't watch the match, so I don't know who played well. I don't know who played badly. I know just all I know is what the scores are. Um, so looking at the scores, what I will say, if I look at the scores, right, if I go to the scores and look at the scores, all I'll say is that for coefficiency points, the British teams haven't done more this week, have they? For coefficiency points. It started. So let's have a look. So the people that are involved in coefficiency, not that I'm bothered about coefficiency points in the sense that, you know, at the end of the day, you finish where you finish. That's where you deserve to finish in the league. But there is a chance for a fifth team in England to get a Champions League spot. Although if that then happens, it means we go down to 8 teams. So the top 8, the coefficiency points work out. The first 8 in the Premiership will all get league spots. First 5 get Champions, 2 get Europa, 8th place will get Conference League. If they don't get the coefficients place, then it will go down to 7th place. So it'll be 4, 2, and 1. But if you look at it, the people in the top of coefficient points are Italy. Second is Germany, and third is England. And going into these round of matches, as far as I was concerned, I think England had 5 teams still in the competition, and I think the Germans had 3, I believe, and the Italians had possibly another 3 because the Italians ain't got no one in the Champions League, right? But then tonight they had Atlanta. So they had 4. They must have had 4 teams. They had Fiorentina, Milan, Roma, and Atlanta. So they got 4. So Italians still got 4 teams. The Germans had 3, 2 in the Champions League, and I think Leverkusen tonight. I don't think they had any other German teams playing. So therefore, people said that England were nailed on for the position. But what ended up happening is 2 of the matches were pitched between English and German sides. So if I go back to Tuesday, we had Arsenal 2, Bayern Munich 2. So that's a draw there. But you go back to Bayern, and if Bayern are them favourites to win at home, then they win that match because if they win that match, then they get more coefficient points than the English do. Real Madrid 3, Man City 3. That was a proper elite game of football. In that one, if Man City win, then there's a point there that they can gain. On Wednesday, we saw Atletico Madrid 2, Borussia Dortmund 1. So Borussia Dortmund are only 2-1 behind Atletico Madrid. If they then turn that around at home in Dortmund, then that could be another point for the Germans. Spanish don't really count because they're so far down the pecking order, although Paris Saint-Germain 2, Barcelona 3, but it's so far down the pecking order. But then tonight's game's pitched Bayer Leverkusen versus West Ham. So you've got Germany, England again, and Bayer Leverkusen 1-2-0. So that bodes well for them. So they've got chances with Munich, they've got chances with Dortmund, and at the moment, Leverkusen are 2-0 up. So the 3 German sides look like having chances at the moment. But then you go to the English clubs tonight. So you've got West Ham have lost, but Liverpool have lost at home to Italy, which is important because Italy are at the top of the coefficients points. But as far as I'm concerned, I think by doing all the maths and that, I think that the Italians, whatever happens, the Italians are always going to finish first or second in the coefficients points. So basically, really, it's out of the Germans and the English to see who gets second spot. But yeah, it didn't bode well with Liverpool losing at home 3-0 to Atlanta. And I think the West Ham striker, from what I saw earlier, the West Ham striker on loan, Shamaka, scored twice for Atlanta. I mean, I was hearing little snippets before coming on, and they said that the guy from Atlanta, the manager, Gasparini, he pulled a stroke on Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool did make 6 changes, but then it must be said that Atlanta also made 6 changes from their weekend game. But what they did is they brought Shamaka in as a number 9, and because Adamola Lookman normally plays in that role for them, but he dropped Lookman to the bench and he brought in Shamaka as a number 9. And whatever tactics he used, they seem to have worked. I mean, I couldn't tell you who had the opportunities and who had the chances in that. I suppose it's worth having a look for Liverpool Atlanta. I've been told that Leverkusen played well against West Ham. Yeah, I got told that Leverkusen. Well, I was hearing that Leverkusen did play well against West Ham, but I'm not sure about the Atlanta. But if I look at the what am I looking at? What am I looking at? Right, the match stats. So the home team of Liverpool. So Liverpool had 19 shots on goal, but only 5 on target, and obviously they didn't score any goals. But Atlanta had 11 shots on target, 7 of them. Sorry, 11 shots on goal, 7 on target, and got 3 goals out of that. But they committed a lot of fouls. Bloody hell, they've committed 16 fouls at Atlanta to Liverpool 7. So Liverpool made a lot of changes, but I don't know. Can people see Liverpool turning that round in the second leg? I don't know. Have they got bigger fish to fry with the Premiership? Although to me, I thought that teams like Liverpool, Villa, even West Ham, I thought they would have put all their eggs in the basket to get a European trophy, regardless whether it's the Europa or the Conference. I would have thought they would have done it. Looking at the Bayer Leverkusen game, it's different though. Bayer Leverkusen game, it's 73% to Bayer Leverkusen, 27% possession to West Ham. Bayer Leverkusen had 33 shots on goal, 13 on target, and scored 2 goals. West Ham had 1 shot, 1 on target in the whole game. So, that looks like it was like a one-sided affair. But as I said, I didn't see the match, so I really can't comment. But just on the stats, it seems to have been a one-sided game. Um, so yeah, going back to the fixtures tonight, Benfica beat Marseille 2-1. Roma beat AC Milan away. So with the Italian clubs, only one of them will go through. If one of them goes through, then only one of them can score more coefficient points. Fiorentina drew 0-0 at Victoria Pilsen tonight in the Conference League, so they've also got a chance of getting through. And then the other teams, you got Olympiacos were 3-0 up against Fenerbahce, and it's ended up 3-2. Villa have beaten Lille 2-1. I don't know how comfortable that was, but when I heard a bits of it earlier, I thought Villa were all over them from what I'd heard. Okay, but maybe not the case, because looking at this now, it says that Villa had 41% possession and Lille had 59% possession. Villa had 12 shots, 4 on target, and Lille had 11 shots, 7 on target. So that appears to be much tighter than what um, I'd heard earlier. So basically, in a nutshell, I don't know quite where that leaves British clubs or English clubs. Let me rephrase that. I don't know where that leaves English clubs as opposed to German clubs with the coefficiency points. To me, I don't know whether West Ham can overturn a 2-goal deficit. I'm not sure about Liverpool overturning a 3-goal deficit. Then you've got Villa who take a slight lead against Lille. And Arsenal and City both drawing, but one's playing at home and one's playing away. So one's going back to the Etihad with a draw, and one's got to go away to the Munich with a draw. So I'm not too sure what will happen there, but they're the results, and I'm sure Jessie probably did a watch along because I see she's in the chat. Probably did a watch along, so these people will know much more, or the people that watched it will know much more. Daniel Lee, good evening. Dan says, I did not watch the Liverpool game, but going by the score and Jess and Stacey's reaction to the game, Liverpool were terrible, and that was being nice. Okay, there we go. There's the comments because, as I said, I didn't see anything. Good evening, DC. DC's here saying, hi from Leicester. Hope everyone in the chat is well. Trust those scouts to let us down. Ronnie's saying, I don't know who he's referring to. Possession at home, 73%. Shots at home, 33. Okay, so we're going back to Leverkusen. So that's Leverkusen. Good evening, Ellie. Says, hello, Senor Garcia. I want Atletico Madrid to win the Champions League as I love the passion of Simeone. I do not believe for 1 minute Atletico Madrid win the Champions League. Don't believe it for 1 minute. Good evening, Lee Statham TV. I think Man City will still win that. Lee Smithy Smith says, Senor Jose. As far as I remember, and I'm not sure, I might stand corrected, but when they did the draw a few weeks ago, wasn't the winner of Man City Real Madrid? Did they not have to play the winner of PSG Barca? I think that's the way, because when they do the quarter-final draw, they also do the semi-final draw. So they pair 2 quarter-finalists and say that's the road to the semi-final and so on. And I think they might have paired PSG and Barca up against the winners of Man City. To me, when you look at the sides that are left in it, them 4 as opposed to the other side 4, it's a much stronger 4, isn't it? And I think the winner comes out of them 4 rather than the other 4. Who else we got here? We've got people saying hello to each other, talking to each other. Ellie's just said, oh my God, Liverpool lost 3-0. Daniel, you see what was Villa's score in the end? It's 2-1. Yeah, someone just put it in there. Lille were robbed of a goal apparently as well. Ben's here. Good evening, Ben. Singing a West Ham song. We've got Kate from Just to Go Who Loves First. Good evening, Kate. Hope you're well. Ryan G is saying Liverpool and West Ham are both out in his opinion. Okay, fair enough. Was Kate? Kate, I'm laughing so hard at Liverpool. They were so cocky on the terrace tonight. I don't watch the terrace. Sorry, I know that you go on there, but I don't watch it. I think. Well, I'm not going to say what I think, but it's not you. It's others that go on there, and yeah, it's really not my cup of tea, to be honest. But if they were cocky, they were cocky. Good evening, Jim. Hello, mate. You hope you're well. Um, Fabianski kept them in it, Jose. Okay, so Ryan, I'm gathering that you watched the Bayer Leverkusen game then, because you're commenting on it, so you must have watched it. Um, People saying I love each other. Oh no, okay, so they play either Arsenal or Bayern, do they? Man City are winners all over anyway. It doesn't matter who they play. They've absolutely taken the piss out of Bayern in the last two times they've met them at different stages, and I think they'll do the same again, Man City to Bayern. I just don't think anyone in Europe is on a level that I don't think anyone in Europe's on a level that Man City are on. Man City are at it. God, they're different gravy to everybody. Um, I think that Madrid and I am saying possibly, be able to close the gap with the players that they're buying for next season. But then players have got to come in and they've got to bed in and play well. Um, so yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Jim said, Jose, I said to Kate, West Ham and Liverpool will both lose tonight, and Liverpool will lose the second leg as well. Mm. See, the thing is, Jim, I know that they made 6 changes, Liverpool, but how would Liverpool fare if they stick out their full 11? The first 11, and don't get me wrong, I don't know what Liverpool's first 11 would be because they've got such good players in reserve or on the bench tonight as well. That yeah, they had a stellar bench. So if they had a stellar bench and had 11 players that played, they've got a heck of a squad there. I don't know. It depends on who they pick for the second leg. But so you think that tie in Atlanta is now done and dusted? That's what you're saying, Jim. I think so. It may well be. I'm not too sure. Um, I can't. I didn't watch the game, so I'm gonna have to rely on what the chat is saying because I didn't see the game at all. Um, right, where are Atlanta? Serie A. Right. I think Atlanta were doing one in Serie A. Oh, Atlanta are currently sixth in Serie A. Yeah, 5 points off of Roma in fifth. So in Italy, interesting. In Italy at the moment, they get 4 places, which we know will become 5 because they're one of the coefficients. They're gonna be in the first 2 spots. But at the moment, so that'd be 5 spots for coefficiency, but they only get 1 spot for the Europa and 1 spot for the Conference League, which seems quite weird. If that was the case, and we stop the table now, it would mean Inter, Milan, Juventus, Bologna, Roma all going into the Champions. Atlanta would be going into the Europa, and Napoli would be going into the Conference League. However, if Atlanta were to win the Europa this year, then Atlanta would automatically go into the Champions League because the winner of the Europa goes into the Champions League. Automatically. So interesting, interesting. Um, Gasparini is one hell of a manager, says Ben. Kate is saying, please sub to Jess. Yeah, really lovely and friendly channel with loads of footy chat and banter. I can't stand Terry Fleurs. Oh, okay, right. Daniel, I would not rule the crazy, notorious comeback kings that is Liverpool in Europe and the second legs. Kate saying Liverpool could have lost by 5 or 6. Ooh. Um, Jim's reinforcing his point to saying that he thinks that Liverpool will lose second leg as well. Ryan is saying, just my opinion of what I've seen of him. Oh, okay, something else is talking amongst each other. Liverpool underestimated Atlanta and overestimated themselves. Daniel Lee, people keep people just writing off Liverpool like that a team with European heritage. Do people not learning football over the years seriously? Um, Atlanta, right? David Clark. Atlanta sixth in the Italian league and have lost 10 games this season. So what the hell were Liverpool playing at? Um, Jim saying Atlanta are a good team, Jose. I knew Liverpool underestimated. Right. So you guys who watch the football, right? Who watched the Liverpool game? So you guys, can you comment for me? Who watched the Liverpool game? What was Edison like, and what was Coop Miners like? Because they're two players that keep swirling around, and I know that we're going to be linked with 300 to 400 players, names coming out of the woodworks, but we have been they've been swirling around in the washing machine, uh, as Tottenham potential players or players that we're looking at, or that we've done data on and stuff like that. How did Edison and Coop Miners play? They're the two that I'd be interested to know about, and I'll take your opinions, valid opinions, because you guys have watched the game. So if you can tell me how they did tonight, then that'd be good. Um, Atlanta are a good team, Jose. I knew Liverpool would underestimate. Okay. Tony's off. Uh, Obviously, it's not been a good night for Tony. Jose, time to go. Good show. Thanks for popping in last night on the show. Now, Tony, you're more than welcome, mate. Yeah, if people haven't, go over to Tony Early Doors Football TV, West Ham supporter, but he's a really nice guy, Tony. Really, really nice guy. Jess, got your channel in my banners for tomorrow. I don't know what that means, but there we go. Let me see what else we got here. Has anyone started going right now? Did someone say Coop Miners? Yeah, I did, Chris. Coop Miners and Edison are two players that Tottenham have been linked with in not too recent past and continue to get linked with, amongst the other 300 to 400 players, if you total up everything that people put out there. And I'm just wondering, if they're two players that we've been linked with, how did these two players play tonight? Obviously, Atlanta have come away with 3-0 win. I think that I'm right in saying that both Coop Miners and Edison did play tonight. I thought they were both selected to play. Um, so yeah, I was just interested to see what the chat said about how they both played. What's that? Smash the lights, you bunch of frauds. Someone's on fire tonight, Kate. Someone's on fire tonight. Chris is saying that Barcelona got dumped by Liverpool a few years back due to player ego, not to the lack of quality. Interesting. Interesting. So, if anyone did watch the Liverpool game, can you just let us know what your thoughts are on Coop Miners and Edison? I'm sure they both played tonight. So you let me know how they did tonight, then I will take your word on it, because I have not recorded it or nothing at all. I was busy with the family and doing some other work bits this evening, so I've not been able to watch any of the football. What else we got? What else we got? So you got that. You got what Kate broke earlier on her show, because it came out while she was doing her show, which is quite interesting, about the semi technology for the offsides being introduced next year. In the Premiership, I presume it's in the Premiership and not in the Championship. It's the way it seems things to go. It goes to where it's got the money, and the money's in the Premiership. So that'd be interesting. And it was interesting to see the still photograph that I saw earlier, because to me, um, that's the same stuff they introduced in the World Cup, Women's World Cup, because it wasn't just that. They did everything at the Women's World Cup, didn't they? Where the referee ended up speaking to the crowd and telling the crowd, some things that were going on, and whatever. So if it was offside, it was then given, they would turn around and say, blow the whistle, and they'd go, offside, number 9, Albania, or whatever. And that's the explanation that they would give on their headsets. But yeah, the picture that we saw earlier, with a semi, with two players, and there's a line there with a semi stuff. It's interesting because in cricket they've had the ball tracking, and that for ages, and even with that, uh, they always like you want to see whether the ball was pitched in line and all that straight away before they start looking whether the ball had been nicked and from Snicko and stuff like that. And even with cricket, and I love cricket, but even with cricket, I feel it takes that tad bit too long to come up with a decision. Um, and then the scaby part of the game is that if the ball, for those that understand cricket, if the ball's coming in and it's hitting the top of off and it's skimming at the top of off, if the umpire gives it out and in replay it says it's skimming and it says umpire's call. So if the umpire says it's out, then because it's skimming, you get given out. But if the umpire says not out and it skims, you get given not out. To me, if it's skimming, does that mean it's knocking the bail off or not? And if it means it's not knocking the bail off, then it doesn't matter whether it's skimming or not. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I mean, to me, and Jim's here, and Jim will agree with me, but football has just completely changed because we never had none of this crap stuff years and years ago. And football was just played, end of story. And it wasn't played on carpets like it is now. It was just a game of football was played, whether it be rain, sun, sunshine, hailstones, snow, it didn't matter. Lightning, it didn't really matter. They didn't stop football for lightning or anything like that. So you ended up just completely playing the games. They were played on the bog heaps, um, and yeah, football's a luxury now. I mean, I spoke to the wife of Martin Granger because I didn't know Martin Granger's wife worked with me. And I spoke to Martin Granger, who's ex-professional, played for Birmingham City and other teams. And she said to me that since he's packed up playing football, he won't bother watching any more games. He says, can't watch it. He said it's just so, um, players are so wrapped up. He said it's just, yeah, it's not football like he knows it. So he says he just doesn't bother watching it at all. He said that everyone's namby-pamby, looked after, wrapped up in cotton wool, and for him, he just can't watch it anymore. They go and watch their son. Their son plays non-league. They go watch their son play, but they don't. I mean, playing non-league is the same as what I'm talking about now. Not all non-league pitches are all pristine carpets. They're not going to have they're not going to have all the technology at Premiership clubs. And a lot of people say that grassroots football is the real football as well. So, but it's interesting. You've got ex-pros saying that they won't watch the game now because you can't do nothing. You can't put tackles in. You can't do nothing like what you used to do. And I just think technology's come and ruined the game. Is my idea. That was my theory. I mean, I heard today there was I mean, I don't know if people have seen the comments that Rodri's made about being tired, and he was off the pace against Madrid, and he turned around and said, "I'm just knackered. I'm knackered, completely knackered." So there was two panelists on Talksport today talking about this, about him saying that he's knackered and that, and on Talksport they were saying that he's played for club and country. He's played just shy of 4,000 minutes this season in I think it's 47 games he's played so far this season for Man City and for Spain in all competitions. And it works out to about 4,000. Yeah, it works out to about 4,000, just under 4,000, 3,900 and something minutes. And they said it that they were arguing on the panel, and one of the panelists turned around and said, "Well, the fault is Guardiola's because he's a unique player, Rodri, and it's down to Guardiola to actually to substitute him or give him a rest and bring another midfielder in. But because they haven't got another midfielder of the same ilk as Rodri keeps getting played all the time. And when Rodri's been taken out of the team, Man City's standards seems to drop, is what people are saying." So, at the end of the day, and then one of the panelists turned around and said, "Tired, tired," and then they started talking about the pitches they played on and stuff like that. And back then you didn't have 20 people in your squad for a match day, and you certainly didn't play on pitches like you do now. And he said, and no one ever complained back then. People would just play and play and play until they got injured. They'd just play and continue playing. And some of them were saying I remember Graham Souness saying a few weeks back, saying that he played. He wasn't that good, but he played in every single game. Because if you didn't play in every single game, someone took your spot, and then you may not get back into the team because you didn't have the amount of substitutes you got now. You got to remember back in the day when I was playing football, it went from one substitute to two to three to five. And even when you had five subs, you could only bring on three. So yeah, so it's interesting listening to some of the stuff that they were talking about. So yeah, I do think that they're all wrapped up. I do think they're all wrapped up. But there we go. Right, what we got with some other people. So okay, neither player did anything special. Thank you very much, Kate. Just a good team performance, she says. Then you've got Dembele missing. Okay, so let's talking about some of the match. Right, what have we got? We've got Scooby. Scooby saying, I don't watch much cricket, but I love how in commentary they have an ex-player from each team stops daft bias commentary, and if the opposing team's commentator gives a compliment, then it's a compliment indeed. Kuva, good evening, Kuva, sir. How are you, mate? I hope you're well. He said, oh, if I can get it up. He's not letting me. The only technology I agree with nowadays is the goal line tech and the scoreboard. Yeah, I agree with the goal line tech. The goal line tech, it is. The whole ball has to be over the line. If it's over the line, it's going to ping to the referee's arm, and it gives him a buzz, gives him an alert that the ball's is wholly over the line. And if players start going up in the and going, yeah, we scored, and the referee doesn't blow that whistle and point it's a goal, then you know that you're just going to carry on because the technology says it wasn't a goal. And that's clear cut. You don't have to stop the game to start looking at things, and that's clear cut. So you're quite right. I agree with you. And I think the only technology that should have been brought in would have been the goal line technology. I don't agree with all the other technology that's brought in because if you've got referees, let them ref the game, and all everyone makes errors and that, but were they really making? Excuse me, were they really making these clear and obvious errors week in week out in their droves in order to warrant bringing in such a crappy system that they brought in? I mean, there's a lot of people that will argue that will say that a lot of betting markets are behind all this and that. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I just don't agree with all the technology that's been brought in. I agree with the goal line, a bit like Cuba, but I think the rest of it's all crap. Jono says, remember Derby County pitch or mud bath at the baseball ground. Lenny Mack, good evening, Lenny. Any scousers hiding in the chat here? I'm searching all over, can't find them anywhere. Yeah, it's interesting. David Clark, no, that's not true. If the umpire gives it not out, the ball has to be hitting the bails by over half the ball. The decision is reversed and given out. When you see the review, David, right, and the ball is clipping, and it shows the ball is clipping, right, it comes up with umpire's call. And if an umpire and it's clipping and an umpire's called on the field during the action, if he says not out and someone reviews it and it goes back to review, if it's clipping, then it stays with the umpire, whether he's given not out or whether he's given out, it stays with the umpire. And to me, that's dodgy. It's either hitting the bails or it's not. So to me, it's either it is out or it is not out, rather than umpire's call. So to me, I don't agree with it. And the technology they've got in cricket far quicker than football, but I still think it takes too long to get Snicko out, and then to start looking for catches and stuff like that. Sometimes I think it takes a bit of time. Nowhere near as much time as what it does in football, but to me, again, I'm not in agreement with absolutely everything that happens on the cricket field either. Um, Does he say? Scooby says that's like the championship, only without falling over and a few nasties ones, if you see what I mean. Um, there's a lot of people here talking to each other, and there still are. Scooby says, "How about a snickometer? How about a snickometer for dives? That'd be cool and quite funny." Yeah, probably. Right. So that was that. Also, in clearing up today, it's interesting that well, it's not interesting, but Mr. O.J. Simpson passed away today. at 76 from cancer. And it's one of them ones that we'll never know, will we? So, may he rest in peace. His children, he was a father, he was also a grandfather. So, my condolences go out to the whole family, and I hope they find unity and strength amongst them all. But yeah, that happened today as well. What else has happened? Apart from that, yeah, we've got a weekend of football coming up, a big weekend of football. In every division. I mean, that's what I didn't talk about. So the mop up's meant to be what happened since I was last on. So since I was last on doing my show on my own, um, we've had a lot of football going on, and looking at the tables now, and there's been people that got. Oh, sorry, Sheffield United were deducted 2 points today, but they will only apply if Sheffield United go down. They will start on -2 in the Championship, which at the moment they're 9 points behind Forest. They have got a game in hand, but it looks like at the moment highly unlikely that Sheffield United, or mathematically they can still do it, but it does look highly unlikely that they're going to stay up. Sheffield United, Burnley, Burnley are what 3 points better off than Sheffield United. They played a game more, so that puts them 6 off Luton and Forest. Um, I don't know. I know that they've got given a points deduction. I'm not too sure why, Ryan. I'd have to look at it. I know it was 2 points, but it only affects them. And it is the twist is it only affects them if they go down. They start on -2 next season. And I'm not sure whether it was a Premiership fine that they got or whether it was a Championship fine that they got for something they did in the Championship. I know it's 2 points, and they get it next season. I'll have to read it up to find out. Um, but then yeah, so looking at the bottom, looking at the Premiership, bearing in mind that there's still appeals to be done and heard. At the moment, you've now got Everton losing that further 2 points earlier on the week. It means that they're now only 2 points ahead of Forest and Luton. And Brentford are on 29, and then Palace are on 30. So for me, I'm going to say this loosely again. I think Sheffield United and Burnley, for all intents and purposes, I reckon are going down. And then I think that the other spot, once all this shenanigans of the appeals get sorted out and the football gets played out between now and the end of the season, I think for me it's between Luton, Forest, Everton, Brentford, and Palace. Palace had that bounce, didn't they, when Glasner came in first couple of games, but that bounce seems to have gone by the wayside since then. And they're on 30 points, and above them, Fulham are on 39. I think Fulham are clear. Fulham ain't going to get in danger at all. But beneath that, Palace are on 30, Brentford are on 29, and then you've got Everton 27 and Forest and Luton both on 25. So yeah, I think there's still fight. The fight will be between them 5 teams. Yeah, Palace, Brentford, Everton, Forest, and Luton. But then, on the other hand, coming up from the Championship has got really tight again because in the Championship, if I can bring the Championship up, Kuba saying I think it could take as little as 31 points to start this year. It could well do, Kuba. It's really, I think there's 5. I think it's 5. The 5 teams, and there's only 5 points between them all. So, but in the Championship, you've got Leicester. I think got beaten. Ipswich, I think drew, and so did Leeds. So it now puts Leicester are on top on goal difference, equal points, but they've got a game in hand on Ipswich and Leeds. So it's 88, 88, 87. That is so tight between them 3. God, it's really tight. But then you've got Southampton and 78 who have 2 games in hand. If they won their 2 games in hand, though, they would go to 84 points, which would put them 3 points behind Leeds and 4 behind Ipswich and Leicester, although Leicester would have a game in hand over them. So there, a few weeks ago, I thought Southampton were definitely just going to be in the playoffs. But looking at it now, Southampton win, and it's always better to have the points on the board. We all know that. We all say it. But if Southampton won their 2 games in hand, it would put them 3 behind Leeds and 4 behind Ipswich and Leicester, with the same amount of games played apart from Leicester. West Brom played the same amount of games. They're on 72. And then you've got Norwich City on 68, who are now 5 points ahead of both Coventry and Preston North End. But Preston North End and Coventry, although they're 5 points behind, they have a game in hand. I will say that Preston's goal difference is 0 at the moment. Coventry's is 17. So, yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. But then equally, the Championship at the bottom, right, Rotherham are down. They're already gone. They're relegated. But then you've got from Birmingham all the way up. I'm going to discount Swansea. Swansea on 50, but I'm going to discount Swansea for the time being. Birmingham are on 42 points, and I think from Birmingham all the way up to QPR, there is a 5 points difference between Birmingham and QPR. So you've got Birmingham on 42, Sheffield Wednesday on 43. They currently occupy the spots. Huddersfield are on 43. Plymouth on 45, Stoke 46, Blackburn 46, Millwall 47, QPR 47. So for me, the 2 that go down from the Championship are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 teams in the mix for 2 places to go down. And when you look at the teams down there, and we're talking Birmingham City are a big club. Sheffield Wednesday, huge club, and they're down there as well. Stoke City would probably class themselves as a bigger club than some of the others. Blackburn Rovers probably will class themselves as a bigger club than some of the others. And then you've got Queen's Park Rangers, Millwall, Plymouth, and Huddersfield thrown in amongst it. There's some big teams down there in trouble. Big, big teams that are in trouble. Yeah, there's some big teams. So yeah, so this weekend it's going to be really interesting because I'm not sure whether it's going to decide things one way or another for the top or the bottom of the championship, but it will certainly go some way to making the picture clearer after we see the results this weekend. League One. If I'm looking at League One, Portsmouth on 90 points. Derby are on 83. Derby drew last night, I think, 0-0. So they've now played a game more than Bolton, and Bolton are 2 points behind them. So I think that you could pretty much say Portsmouth win one more game, although their goal difference is 35. Yeah, so Portsmouth are currently 9 points in front of Bolton, who are third, right? So Portsmouth need 4 points in 4 games to mathematically be up. To be mathematical champions, they need 6 points because then it means Derby can't catch up with them. Oh no! Tell a lie. Tell a lie. So 12 points, 93. So 4 points gets Portsmouth the title, and they go up as they go up as champions, but they go up 4 points is what they need to be champions. I got 4 games to go. Then you've got Derby and Bolton on 83 and 81, and then you've got Peterborough who won last night 3-0, I think. They've got a game in hand. They're on 77, so their game in hand, if they won it, would take them to 80. So that still put them 3 points behind Derby with the game in hand, but Derby have got a superior goal difference at the moment. Barnsley on 74, and then Oxford are on 70, so they hold the spots at the moment. Now, behind them, you have Lincoln City are 2 points behind Oxford. Blackpool 3 points behind, and so are Stevenage. Leyton Orient are on 62, so Leyton Orient are 8 points from the playoff place with 3 games to go. So I think it's Stevenage upwards to see who gets the spots. But I pretty much a bit like the Championship, the title or the 2 that will go up, I think will come out of Portsmouth, Derby, and Bolton. Looking further down the league though, Carlisle have been relegated already. And then down the bottom, you've got Fleetwood, Cheltenham, Port Vale currently hold the relegation spots. So Fleetwood have got 34, Cheltenham 38, Port Vale 40. Burton Albion sit outside the bottom 4, just on goal difference by 2 goals, but they're on 40 points. Cambridge are on 45. Shrewsbury are on 46. And Reading are on 49. Now, Reading have had their problems this season, and they've been docked. How many points have they been docked? 45, 51. Okay, so they've been docked 6 points, Reading, and they sit 17th. But Fleetwood have only got 34 points. So they're 4 points off Cheltenham, 6 points off Port Vale. So I think Fleetwood near enough, unless there's a mad turn of results. Fleetwood could be the second team to go down from there. But I think that, yeah, like I said, all the way up to Shrewsbury, things can change. But I think the picture becomes clearer this weekend. And then in League Two, difficult to see past Stockport County. I've had a bit of a balance, a bit of a blip, but at the moment you've got Stockport on 83, Wrexham on 79, but have played a game more. Mansfield on 76, Milton Keynes Dons 74, Crewe Alexandra 70, Barrow 67, Crawley Town 65, and then you've got a couple of teams on 62 in AFC Wimbledon and Walsall. Doncaster Rovers are on 61, Harrogate Town are on 61. So really, mathematically, you could go all the way down to, I can't even Bradford, Notts County pick up 12.67. Right, mathematically, you can go all the way down to Notts County in 15th. In reality, you'd probably go no further than Harrogate, I'd say, to see who goes up into the playoffs. I think it's going to be pretty difficult to dislodge Stockport County. I think they'll go up. I think Wrexham will automatically go up. I don't think they'll go up as champions because they've played a game more than Stockport and they're 4 points behind them. But they could go up. And I think Mansfield, they've played a game less than Milton Keynes Dons. They're 2 points in front of them in third because the first three go up. But then in saying that, Wrexham have lost two Wrexham have won 4 and lost 2 in the last 6. Mansfield have won 2, drawn 1, lost 3 in the last 6. Milton Keynes Dons have lost 2, drawn 1, won 3. Crewe Alexandra have fallen off a cliff. They've won 1, drawn 3, lost 2. So points wise, they've only picked up 6 points out of the last 15. So yeah, there's people there that could make moves. But then looking at the bottom of the of League Two, you had a bit of resurgence from Forest Green Rovers, but they are down the bottom. They've got 36 points. They've played 2 games more than Colchester, who's just above them on 38. Sutton United have climbed out in recent weeks and are just 1 spot outside the relegation zone on 39. And then you've got Grimsby on 43. I think Salford on 47 are probably safe. Probably. Not mathematically, but probably safe. Because there's a 4-point gap between them and Grimsby. And there's a 8-point gap between them and Sutton. So I think they're probably safe. But yeah, this weekend, people, this weekend will tell us a lot of what is going to be going on. And then moving on to this weekend's fixtures, and obviously because we're in the Premiership, we're going to talk about the Premier. This week's fixtures for everybody at the moment are: you've got Newcastle against Tottenham, which we can talk about. We've got Brentford versus Sheffield United, Burnley versus Brighton, we've got Man City v Luton, Nottingham Forest versus Wolves, Bournemouth, Manchester United, Liverpool Crystal Palace, West Ham Fulham, Arsenal Aston Villa, and then on Monday night you've got Chelsea Everton. So there's some big games in the Premiership that will go a long way, possibly to deciding who's going to finish in the top places, and most definitely who's going to be going down. Because when I look at this and I look at the people that are in peril at the moment, Sheffield United are away to Brentford. That's not going to be an easy gig to go to the Community Stadium at Brentford and try and turn Brentford over there. That's not going to be an easy gig for Sheffield at all. Burnley are at home to Brighton. Brighton blow hot and cold. Brighton blow hot and cold. So I'm not sure. You could have. It depends what Burnley and what Brighton turn up. I suppose you could say it for every team. Luton have got the task of going over to Man City. Man City have now got to decide what kind of team they stick out. I mean, I say that loosely because they've got the best squad in the league, Man City. They got players in every position. But bearing in mind that they played on Tuesday in the Champions, they're playing this game and then they've got to play the second leg on Wednesday. So it'd be interesting to see what Guardiola does because, yeah, they're chasing the league and they're chasing um, the champions, and I think they're in the semi-finals as well next weekend as well, next Saturday or whatever. I think they're in the semi-final. I think they're in the semi-finals next Saturday as well, the FA Cup. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what Man City, but they have got the best squad in the league. Then you've got Forest versus Wolves. Tight game. Wolves not been picking up points of late, and Forest need to pick up points with their deduction that they've had because you don't want to be waiting till the end of the season till your appeals come in or go to figure out whether you're going to have the same amount of points taken off you or whether you're going to be docked any more because you've appealed and lost. So, yeah, that's a tricky game as well. Then you've got Bournemouth versus Man United. Man United have got loads of injuries in defence, but Man United this season, um, for those that watch the football, excuse me again, right, those that watch the football and are aficionados of the football, Man United this season have been so easy to play against. So they get cut open by everyone they play against. They concede the most amount of shots against any opponent they're playing against as well. So it'd be interesting because a rampant Bournemouth, could they upset the apple cart against Man United? Tricky game to call. You got Liverpool versus Palace. So you got Liverpool coming back from tonight's defeat up against Palace at the weekend. Palace, I think Palace I said it already under Glasner. I think the new manager bounce has come and gone. Come and gone. West Ham versus Fulham, London derby. West Ham lost 2-0 tonight. I don't even know what West Ham side they picked. I don't know whether they picked their 11, their strongest 11 to start the game like they have done in the last few games. They're going to suffer burnout sooner or later on, their West Ham. Then you've got Arsenal, who are coming back from a 2-2 draw against Bayern. Be interesting to see what Arteta sticks out as a team there as well, because obviously Arsenal will be then playing their return game. Or were they playing their return game Wednesday? But either way, Arsenal play again against Bayern Munich in midweek, and they're going up against Villa. It was only Germany, but they still had to travel. Arsenal, didn't they? Villa didn't have to travel tonight, so the Villa would be. Or sorry, Villa didn't have to travel out the country. They're only going from the Midlands down to London for this game. But yeah, it'd be interesting because I don't know what kind of team Arsenal will put out. Although Arsenal have got a decent squad, I believe as well. Not as strong as some of the others, but they've got some decent players. But it'd be interesting if they bring back. Because I was watching Jez's channel the other night, and I heard we think that within the Tottenham fan base, we think that we go Gary. Well, anyway, I watched Jez's show the other night or last night. Oh, excuse me. And God, they're all like mad against Kivior, who played left back. They're all against Kivior. They don't rate Zinchenko at left back either. A lot of them were saying that Trossard. The only reason why they said that Trossard's probably one of the best footballers at the club is what they were saying. All these people on the panel and the chat saying Trossard's probably one of the best footballers in the club. But the only reason why Martinelli gets picked before him is because of speed, just because he's a lot quicker. But technically and everything, they were saying that Trossard's one of the best players at the club. They were saying that maybe Thomas Partey needs to come into the side and they need to drop God, the Italian boy, Jorginho. So yeah, so it was interesting because yeah, we as a fan base, we all have different opinions over Tottenham, and that it was interesting. I watched the show yesterday, and God, the Arsenal have some different opinions, big time different opinions. Um, and I will say that core they weren't happy with this. They're not happy with Arteta. They really ain't happy with Arteta. Um, they're saying if Arteta doesn't win anything this year, that Arteta surely has to go. Is what they're saying, and I was surprised about that because if you've got a team that's challenging for titles rather than sitting in eighth place and stuff like that, and your team's challenging for titles on a consistent basis, you know, then I wouldn't be moaning so much. But they were like really on top of Arteta, and yeah, if it doesn't win nothing this year, they want Arteta out. A lot of them. So yeah, it was interesting. And then Monday night it finishes off with Chelsea versus Everton. Again, this is another one. It depends what Chelsea turn up. Who knows? Who knows what Chelsea's going to turn up? And that's the Monday night game. Um, and in saying that, Everton have conceded the fourth least amount of goals in the Premiership, which is quite an interesting stat. Um, but they don't score many, do they? They don't score many at all. They scored 32, but they conceded 42. But they don't score many. But Everton are 27 points. Car, they're fighting. They're fighting for themselves. But Chelsea are also fighting to get a berth in the in Europe. And do you know what? Chelsea played 30 games this season. They're in ninth place with 44 points. So they're 3 points off Newcastle, but they've got a game in hand over them. They're 4 points away from West Ham, who sits seventh, but they've got 2 games in hand on West Ham. And with Man United, if they win their game in hand, they go 2 points behind Man United. So Chelsea, all of a sudden, are in the mix for a place in Europe. So the places, if it stays as it is, up to 7 places, I think you can go all the way down to Wolves. Wolves are on 42. West Ham are on 48. Wolves have got a game in hand. So everyone wins their game in hand. Wolves go to 45. Brighton go to 46. Chelsea go to 50. Newcastle go to 50. And West Ham are on 48. And Man United are on 49. So basically, there is a. So you've got the top 5, who I believe will finish as the top 5. I don't think there's any doubt. I think they're going to finish as the top 5. But then after that, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You've got 6 to 7 clubs that are looking to finish 6th, 7th, and possibly 8th. So, yeah. So that should be interesting. So, yes, so the football this weekend in all 4 leagues, it will give us news, views, and clues of who's going to win titles, who's going to get relegated. We're going to be 1 game closer to the end of the season to find out where we are and where we're going to be. All right, let me go back to the chat. Quick. Is there anyone? I don't know why they got the points deduction. What does Chris say? I think Cristiano Ronaldo would be great VAR addition to deciding whether a player had dived or scored from offside or not. Cristiano Ronaldo, he got sent off the other day, didn't he? A guy was trying to he tried to stop a guy from taking a quick throw or something like that, and he ended up elbowing the guy, and he got sent off, and his team got knocked out of the semi-final 2-1 with his sending off of their cup out there in Saudi. What you got next there? Yeah, Cooper was saying it could take as little as 31 points to keep someone up this year. Good evening, Noel Kane. Sorry, I've only just got to you now. It says big ups, evening chat. Scoob saying it's got all fuzzy up there. This is about the championship. Still ought to play for. Seems like everybody's form's got iffy. Jono, and I think Jono's an Ipswich supporter. I think Jono. Jono's saying I think Leeds should have a point deduction. The 6 points they got against us, AJS, if you're still on here. Cooper's reminding us that Leeds play Southampton on the last day too. Yeah, everything's got really airtight up there, hasn't it? Really airtight. It's important. It's important one, Cooper. Then weirdly, of all the games left, that's the one I fancy us to most maybe just at home and everything. Mm. Um, Smithy saying, "Come on, Oxford." I must have talked about Oxford earlier then. Uh, Scooby says, "If out, I'd go Ipswich. They just seem to have a habit of pulling it out of the bag. Yet weirdly, if they go up, I think they'll struggle the most." It's the same as this last year, Scooby. Last year it was Luton. No, it was Sheffield United and Burnley. So Burnley won the league, didn't they? And Sheffield United were runners up. Luton finished sixth. So at the bottom of the group for the playoffs, they finished sixth, and they ended up winning the final and coming through. And now they're the ones that look more at home in the Premiership out of the three of them. So that's quite interesting, quite interesting that's worked out and panned that way. Scooby is talking to you. Danny says MK Don's going to scam promotion, even though they're shy. I don't think that they can go up. I think they've played one game more than the others at the moment. But you may be right, Daniel, because results change games, don't they? And as I said, because we're getting towards the end of the season now, especially in the leagues outside of the Premiership, because the Premiership's still got 7 games to go, or 6, 7 games to go. And the others, like in the Championship, you've got 4 games to go. In some of the other, in League One, League Two, you've got 4 and 3 games to go with a lot of teams as well. So they're coming towards the end. So this weekend will be another game knocked off for them, because I think they'll finish their leagues by the first week in May. I think that's what happens, because then they have a rest, and that because not a rest. They then play the playoffs games and all that, and then the finals are then played towards the bank holidays. So it's towards the end of the month. So yeah, this is going to be a lot closer to determining who's going to be going up and down from them 3 leagues. Nothing will be decided in the Premiership, but points won or lost this weekend could also determine where you're going to finish. Not that they seem to have one way of playing football, one string to their bow, and they'll get battered on the counter. Can we call them scummy? I'm going to struggle if I can't. You can call them. You can say anything you want, mate. I'm not going to stop you. Scooby D2, who's your team? Scooby says, yes, mate, I know, and there's something to be said for having a go. I guess a loss is a loss, be it 2-0 or 6 or 7-0. But after a couple of months of 6 and 7s, you feel surely you have to change. So Scooby says Leeds. John knows Ipswich, as I thought he was. What's Chris Mate saying now? Right, Chris is saying we hope for the best for LOUC, as you've got a club with history and deserve to be up in the Prem. Loyal fan base, amazing. Leeds are a massive club. There's no getting away from it. Leeds are a massive club. But then by the same token, so are Leicester are. They're not. I don't believe Leicester are as big as Leeds, but they are. They're a big club. They have been Premiership proven for a number of years. They won the title not long ago. But Leeds are massive. God, they are huge. But then in saying that, Ipswich were a monster club back in the 70s and 80s and that. So, Ipswich in their own right are a biggish club as well. But out of the teams that are in the Championship, Leeds are one of the monster clubs that are in the Championship. But for me, so Sheffield Wednesday, and look where they are. Their demise is right down the bottom. I'd say Sunderland are a big side as well. If you're looking at teams from yesteryear, that they're a big side. Borough, not Middlesbrough, big side as well. Birmingham, big team as well. Championship's got so many. Championship is a really difficult league to get out of, but this year has been extra special because you've got 3 teams going at it toe to toe with each other. So yeah, it's amazing up there. Daniel Lee says they went up last time in League Two and scammed 3rd place on the final day. Jose, trust me, they always seem to scam promotion out of League Two. I'll have to take your word for it. There's audio at Artisan. Dry roasted peanuts coming. Right. Okay. I didn't see. So, welcome, dry roasted peanuts. Says Saka is so brave to recover from career-ending injuries every 20 minutes. And someone said hello to audio. So audio must be here as well. But I didn't see his comment to say that he'd come in. But I've got people saying hello to audio. So audio, if you're here, I'm going to say hello. Oh, here it is. Here it is. So good evening to you as well, Audio. Nice to see you, mate. Nice to see you. Scooby says Defo. Said Defo Geordies in Mackems always pull a huge crowd, even if it's near the bottom of the championship. There's not many teams that can say that. Yeah, Sheffield Wednesday pull massive crowds as well. Sheffield, you got to remember some of these clubs, their stadia was used for semi-finals when we used to do the semi-finals of the FA Cups, and they were played at neutral venues. You were using Hillsborough. Hillsborough was being used. You've used Ellen Road. Some of these clubs are massive, massive, massive. So, at the end of the day, it's a hard league to get out of. And whoever gets out of the league has done really well to do so. And if you do it first time of asking, whether you win, whether you're second, or whether you come up through the playoffs, if you do it first time of asking, you've made an achievement there, because there are some teams that didn't make it at first time of asking and then struggle. Because if you don't make it up, then you start losing your players, don't you? You start losing players, and then you have to then build other sides and new sides again from scratch. And some teams end up worse off from that. So, yeah, for the teams that went down last year, if they could get up this year, it's a it's a really good achievement for them. And yeah, to get up quick is what you want to do. Daniel Lee's saying the quicker MK Dons dissolve, then I don't need to associate them with Milton Keynes anymore. And then you've got Scooby saying ours might not be bad. Near bottom, say 20k, Newcastle Geordies, and Mackham Sunderland will likely double that. Interesting. Right. So I've gone through quite a bit there, and I've just talked away and rattled it off. Is there any questions that you guys have got? Because if you've got any questions, I'm happy to answer some for you. So I will see whether you've got any questions for me. And if you have, like I said, I will answer them. But yeah, there's been some good results, and as I said, I watched some of the. I thought Man City versus Real Madrid. Oh my God, what an elite game! There's two absolute dream teams, to be honest, going at each other. But Man City have got too much from at the Etihad. Man City will play them off the park at the Etihad. I just think Real Madrid had the chance at their place. I don't think Madrid are going to go and beat them at City. And I really don't. I can't see many teams going to the Etihad in Europe from the European side and going to do them. First question, look at that from Chris. The question will be, what does Graham, Spurs GCTV, have hiding up his sleeves for you tonight? Because he's the one that always asks me the questions. Dry roasted peanut is pissing himself laughing with you, Chris. Straight away, look at that, he's laughing. Right, so Dan's asked a question. So everyone can play along and everyone can answer this. I'm asking a question because I was talking about the Italian league earlier. Your five favourite players to play in the Italian league. Right, Dan, just to quantify it for me, mate, are you talking about my favourite five present or favourite five present or past? Because that would be that's the thing I'd need to answer. And then I can answer it from there. So if you give me that, then I will be able to answer. Graham's come in with Chris waiting to see if anyone else is going to ask any. Past. Okay, so Daniel's question, for not only for me but for everyone in the chat. I'm asking a question because I was talking about the Italian league earlier. Your five favourite players to play in the Italian league past. So these players would have played before in the Italian league. For me, I'm going to say Diego Armando Maradona is one. I'm going to say the original R9 is somebody else that I loved playing, or loved him as a footballer anyway, regardless of where he played. I also liked Michel Platini when he was at Juventus. I thought he was a good player. It would be remiss of me not to stick a defender in there because the Italians are known for their defending. So I am going to go for the majestic Maldini. I'm going to stick him in there as well. and go for the majestic Maldini. And do you know what? I'm gonna uh, I'm gonna go for I'm gonna go for Roberto Bettega from Juventus. Some of you won't remember Bettega. Roberto Bettega, Claudio Gentili. These players that you won't remember from yesteryear from Juventus, they were all absolutely fantastic footballers back in the day. Ryan G is saying, to be fair, there's more, to be fair. I was going to say Adriano, Recoba, Nesta, and Del Piero. Audio is coming in with Rui Costa, Roberto Baggio, the real R9, Weah, and Totti. So there's some good shouts there as well. Ryan G, R9, Maldini, Baggio, Seedorf, Pirlo. Chris Meta is coming in with Ronaldo, R9, Van Basten, Laudrup, Baggio, Rijkaard. Yeah, Van Basten was a hell of a player in Italy as well. But so was Hullet. And you've got Rijkaard and Van Basten, but no Hullet in there. Scooby, I saw Platini play for Leeds in a testimonial. A few other good players too. I forget the Italian. He was well thought of. Platini played for an Leeds shirt. I mean, Maradona played in a Tottenham shirt. He came over for Ozzy Ardiles' testimonial, and he wore a Tottenham shirt. So you got that. Yeah, do as Danny says. Smash the like and subscribe if you're enjoying the show. A very good 5, Chris, is what Ryan says. Danny, it's the league where literally you came multiple great players. Yeah, in saying that, I mean, you're saying that, but I could run off players that have played in the English league. I could run off players that have played in the Spanish league. You know, in Italy, some of you are well too young to remember, but in Italy, some of their better players in Italy, you got to go back to the 80s and 90s and 70s and that, and they had some serious players because everybody went to Italy. So if you got to move to an Italian club, then you knew that you'd made it. You was a top footballer because back then Italy ruled the roost out of the leagues. They got all the best players. They all went to Italy. So you're going to find that loads of players were great players in Italy. But I think that started evening itself out with other. It's interesting because for me, it started evening itself out with other leagues, probably from the mid 90s onwards. I think up until about the mid 90s, it was all about the Italian league. But then it sort of middled itself out and other leagues caught up with it. And then what's interesting as well is back in the day, and some of you may not even remember this. DCV's here, he'll remember it, and some of the Leeds older mob they might remember as well. But back in them days, you could only have 3 foreign players in your team. Everybody else had to be from your nation, so you could only have 3 foreigners. So your players were all Italian, apart from 3 foreigners. You could only have 3 foreigners in your squad, and that. And then that sort of like all the best of the best went to make up one of them 3 spots in each team. And there was 18, 20 teams in the league then. So there wasn't that many foreign nationals playing, but they took the creme de la creme went and played out there. So, yeah. So, and that was the Italian league. But then, like I said, everything evened itself out. And then you got players that went to play in other countries who were absolutely superb. You got Danny's coming in with John Charles, best English export to that ever moved to Italy. So John Charles went back there in the 60s, if I remember rightly. I think he went to Juve, didn't he, John Charles? I might be wrong, but I think he went to Juve. It was before I was born, I know that, but I do think it was back in the 60s. Bobby Collins, John Charles, joint testimonial. Charles played for Juventus. Oh, yes, there we go. So he did play for Juve. I thought he had. 2 of the best strikers in the 90s never played in England, Batistuta and R9, the real Ronaldo. Right, no, Daniel, what I said is up until the mid-90s, I think Italy ruled the roost. But when the Premiership started, and then the money came over here, then the English league, even the Spanish league started getting a lot of getting foreign players in, and it kind of evened it out. So not every foreign player went to Italy. So and since then the tide has completely swung, where you do get foreign players in every country, but you don't have the rule anymore of 3 foreign players. I mean, if you look at our team that played on, just out of curiosity, because it's just to show my point. If I look at Tottenham's lineup that played this weekend just gone, right? So let me go to Tottenham's lineup that played this weekend just gone. So we played on Sunday, didn't we? We were the last people to play, right? So on Sunday, the Spurs lineup, right, had an Italian, an Argentinian, another Italian, a Spaniard, a Dutchman, Senegalese, English, one English, Welsh, German, Malian, and South Korean. So in the first 11, we had one English player playing with Tottenham at the weekend in the first 11. And then off the subs bench, you had a Dane, a Uruguayan, a Swede, an Argentinian, and Dane Scarlett made the second Englishman. Back up until the mid 90s or around that, or just before the 90s, you could only have 3 foreign players in your team, and that's why teams were so different. Um, then you've got Chris Smith says, as a mod, I'm allowed another 10, but it's too away a hullet, so Grandad doesn't get grumpy. Gascoigne, Platt, Seedorf, Boniek, Alan Boxic, Recoba. You're talking about Gaetano Shirea. Yeah, Shirea is who I said earlier. Shirea, Claudio Gentili, Paolo Rossi. The Italians had so many. Yeah, the Italians had players. Audio's coming back in with Prozineski, top player. Boban, good player. Maldini, Signori, Aspria. There's so many. Oh, good evening, Signor Chang. Good evening, Mr. Chang. I hope you are well, sir. Mr. Chang says the fact Klinsmann was considered a 90s marquee signing that came from an Italian club, i.e. Inter Milan, speaks volumes of how highly regarded the Serie A was back then. Walter Zenga, Italian goalkeeping maestro. Meta Football says I forgot to mention Aspria as well. You're getting a lot of people saying good evening to Chang. Toto Schillaci for Danny Rumsey was a good Italian striker. You got people still saying hello to Chang. Um, Danny, I've never heard of anyone called Batistuta. Not good. That's how you know he was great. I like Tino, is what he's saying, but I preferred Zola and Ginola. Tequila has come out of the woodworks to say hello to Chang. Good evening, Tequila, my friend. I hope you are well, sir. I haven't seen you in a while. Chang is saying a very good Friday morning to you as well from Southeast Asia, Spurs, GCTV, and Mr. Ryan. Chang, are you on tomorrow with Ellie as well at 11, or are you just on with Kate? Have you deserted the 11 o'clock show? I just wanted to know. Is Walter Zenga better than Dino Zoff? Dino Zoff was Dino Zoff was a monster of a goalkeeper for Italy. It was in the era when um, you had Shilton, who started out as Zoff was finishing, but Shilton was about because Shilton played for years, didn't he? But then you also had Sepp Maier was the German goalkeeper back then, when Italy's goalkeeper was Dino Zoff. Sepp Maier was a goalkeeper for Germany at the time as well, and they both played for their countries for such a long time, and they both played for top sides within their countries as well. But I do remember them both. I do remember them both. Kuba saying big up to Chang as well. So, do you guys? What? Anyone else got any more players that they remembered from the Italian leagues? No. Okay. Right. Next one that was starred. Right. Here we go. Here we go. He had to do it. Easy one for starters. A bacon sandwich, brown sauce or tomato? Neither. I'm answering that one with a neither. Johnny Bethnal Green says I'm watching on TV, so I had to log in phone to say hi to everyone and Jose. Big up Chris Meta. And you too, Johnny Sanchez, Bethnal Green, amigo. We shall see you tomorrow for predictions. I'll see all of you for predictions, in fact. Um, Okay. I did ask Queen Ellie about the availability on for 11 a.m. Friday show. Right, Ellie told me, Chang, just to say to you, Ellie told me that she thought you were doing something on Spurs Asian TV and that you couldn't come on Friday. But if you do want to come on, tell her in the WhatsApp group, tell her that you want to come on and she'll get you on tomorrow at 11 as well. If you want to do it, because she's got to go to the 12:30 show as well. So it's up to you. If you want to do it, message Ellie. I'm sure it ain't a problem. Um, right. So for me, I've said to the question, right, that Graham has answered. It's easy fun for starters. Bacon sandwich with brown sauce or tomato. I have said neither because I don't like. I'm not a lover of brown sauce or tomato sauce. So I've said neither. And you've got Danny Rumsey is a neither person. Um, Daniel Lee screw brown sauce. Ryan G says brown. Um, Graham says brown sauce for bacon. It's a rule in life. Tequila saying no brown sauce. Scooby says, depends. I need the option. Plus, I might add cheese and chili sauce and make it into a toasty. Interesting. Tequila would prefer barbecue. Audio is saying tomato for bacon, brown sauce for sausage sarnies. Ooh. Kuva is going for brown sauce. Bobby Cable wouldn't let me consider anything else. um, How do we know it's Tequila's birthday? If it is your birthday, Tequila, people are saying happy birthday to you. I don't know how people know it's your birthday, unless I've missed something. I don't know. But if it is your birthday, Tequila, a very, 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 very happy birthday to you, my friend. I very, very. Oh, here we go. Just chilling, mate. It's my birthday, so no hassle. Right. Happy birthday, Tequila. Everyone, show the love. Happy birthday to Tequila. Um, Danny says, I don't have any sauce on any of my food. Good job, Danny. Good job, Danny. Um, right. I did shout him out, Chris, because I saw that people were saying happy birthday to him, so I had to shout it out, but I didn't realise until I've gone back and read through the chat to some that I'd missed. Right. Next question we got Graham again. Graham is my quiz master. He's the one that asks all the questions. Favourite character from the Muppets? For me, it was Animal. I loved Animal. The one that and he played the drums. Animal for me all day long. He's my favourite Muppet. Yeah, I'm going for Animal. You're going for Waldorf and Statler, the two old boys up in the balcony box. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right, there you go. Look, Scooby's with me. Animal and Gonzo. Scooby's with me on it, on Animal. Um, Chang is saying for him, on the earlier question, pretty much all Asian sauces are either too spicy, savoury, or too sweet and sour. The absolute worst are the sweet and sour sauces in Chinese dishes. Um, Kuva is going for Miss Piggy in the Muppets, saying she was a proper diva. Ryan G, I don't know, Ryan G, sometimes he surprises me. Well, I'll tell you what, in fact, on these shows on a Thursday night, surprises me all the time. He says, I never watched it. Surprise, surprise. You've never watched the Muppets? Are you taking the absolute biscuit again? You've never watched the Muppets? Ah. Daniel Lee's saying another question where I'm lost again. You lot got to get serious, mate. The Muppet Show. You don't remember the Muppets? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Scooby says, what's Scooby saying? I had an IP, Dr. Teeth, and the Electric Mayhem. That was the Muppets band with Animal on the drums. Eee. Yeah, me and Daniel as usual. I don't know how you can say you've not heard of the Muppets. I don't know where you've been if you haven't heard of the Muppets. The Muppets is yeah, it is the Muppets. It's yeah, it's famous. I used to get they're puppets, all different puppets, and they used to get people go on the shows. So you used to get a human on the show, and you've got Miss Piggy and Kermit the Frog. Tell me you haven't heard of Miss Piggy and Kermit the Frog, Ryan and Daniel. Miss Piggy and Kermit the Frog. And then Scooby's just singing the intro for us. It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights. Yeah, I remember that. My childhood, the Muppets. You really must know Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy. You've got to know who they are. I've heard of it. I've never seen it. Tequila's saying the same thing. You must have heard of Miss Piggy and Kermit. And Fozzie Bear. Look, Fozzie Bear as well, Scooby saying. He's saying, and then Chris is saying that even Prince was on the Muppets. What a legend. I miss him so much. Yeah, even have you had legendary people on it as well, haven't we? We've had some legendary people on there. So, yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting because there's some people there and you can't remember it. Rolf the dog. Yeah, you had Rolf the dog. Yeah, the Count. I like the Count, but I think he was only on Sesame Street. Yeah, the Count. One. Two. Yeah, he was brilliant, wasn't he? He was brilliant. Cooper says it's a long time since the Muppets were prime time on a BBC One Fridays, Jose. Yeah, yeah. I used to watch it all when I was younger. So, and what was the other show? What was the other show? It was on a Sunday. The Sunday one. It was all satirical with they had the puppets on that as well. Michael Heseltine, Margaret Thatcher, all stuff like that. What was it called? Brilliant show. It was on a Sunday. They used to take the piss out of the royal family as well. It was just absolutely mental. Ah, Spitting Image. That's it. Spitting Image. Yeah. And Cooper's just got it. Yeah, Spitting Image. That's the one. Ryan and Daniel, tell me that you two lunatics have seen Spitting Image. You know what Spitting Image is about. You must be telling me you must know what Spitting Image is about. Um, Look at Chad. Even in Asia, I grew up on Sesame Street in the 80s as a kid. So the Muppets and Fraggle Rock came hand in hand from the Jim Henson stable of kids shows for us Gen X genre. Look up Muppets singing Bohemian Rhapsody. Yeah. The Swedish chef. Birdie, 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 birdie. Birdie, 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 birdie. There we go. Yeah, the Swedish chef with his chickens and pigs in sauce. Spitting Image, yeah. People all tell me Spitting Image. Spitting Image was absolutely brilliant. Um, you both, Daniel and Ryan G, have both said they've never heard of bloody Spitting Image. You need to go and watch. Seriously, guys, get educated, man. Go back. Just type in the Muppet Show, and you can see what the Muppet Show is about. Go back to Spitting Image. Spitting Image. They took the piss out of absolutely everyone. There was no holes barred. They didn't care. They rinsed everybody, whether you were political, sportsman, actor, you could anything you were. They made heads. They made caricature heads of people, um, and bodies as well, but mostly the heads. And that's hence why it's called Spitting Image. But they absolutely rinsed the whole world. They didn't care who they were rinsing, and it's absolutely it's before its time. It's absolutely brilliant. You need to go back. You need to check these things out. These things were absolutely brilliant. Spitting Image must have been in the 90s. No, it could have been in the 80s because Thatcher. It was when Thatcher was prime minister as well, because they used to take the piss out of Thatcher. Ronald Reagan. So that would have been the 80s. So I would say mid to late 80s, I reckon it came out. But it lasted for years and years. Lasted for years and years. And they rinsed absolutely everyone. It's so brilliant. They rinsed absolutely everyone. Um, Yeah, Tequila's saying that now. Yeah, look, you couldn't get away with it nowadays, Jose. Even Little Britain can't be found anywhere nowadays. Yeah, they took the absolute living. They took the absolute. I wasn't even born yet. That's why we're trying to educate you, son. What we're trying to do is we're trying to educate you on yesteryear in Britain and what was good and what was good, what we used to watch, what was fun. Um, but because you lot have been brought up in an era where everything is all politically correct and you must do this and you must do that and you're brainwashed about absolutely everything. back then there was anarchy. There was anarchy back in the 80s, and that's why these things were worth watching. And they took the absolute living piss out of everyone. Um, Tequila says Chris Barry used to be on the show, then he went to Red Dwarf, so mid 90s. But Kuba said the first Spitting Image show was in 1984. Ryan would have been in his dad's ballsack. Go and speak to your old man, and he'll tell you about. He probably laughed his ballsack off watching Spitting Image. In a Hype says Spitting Image got relaunched recently on YouTube. Did it? Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all. I'm not that young, Jose. Early 90s I was born. Yeah. Graham comes up with some right. Graham, you show your age, and then people can't remember. Some people are answering this already. For Ryan and for Daniel, especially, is it Battlestar Galactica or Buck Rogers for you? Battlestar Galactica or Buck Rogers for you? I've already seen his answer. What's Chang saying? Chang is saying, even us Asians have watched or at very least heard a Spitting Image from the 80s, albeit some episodes were too controversial for Muslim countries here in Asia. Sock puppets were the go-to shows. It was hard hitting. They didn't care. There's no holes barred in Spitting Image, and it was hard hitting. And yeah, we've already said quite clearly, Chang, that you cannot do anything like that now because of the world that we live in, it won't allow you to do things like that anymore. Tequila's going for Battlestar. Chris is going with Bucks Fizz instead of Bucks Rogers. Ryan G said, let's go with Battlestar Galactica. Sounds cooler. Okay. Is that like Star Trek? Daniel saying, oh, we've got people laughing. And then you got Cooper saying, Buck Rogers, Lieutenant Wilma Deering, hubba hubba. Tequila saying, man, I feel old. Scooby saying, the Flumps, Willow the Wisp, Sport Billy, and Basil Brush. All these names that Scooby's come up with. Do you know any of these, Dean and Ryan and Danny? Scooby, I think what you need to do when you're on Jesse's or when you're here or wherever you are, if Ryan and Daniel are around, what you need to do is you need to educate them with some of the old stuff, mate. Just educate them with some of the old stuff. Graham is saying Buck Rogers for him. Daniel he says, I am proper in the mud now. And Met Football saying Basil Brush, boom, boom. Yep, I remember Basil. Do you remember Basil Brush then? Surely, if Ryan and Daniel tell me they don't know that who Basil Brush is from Boom Boom, then there's no hope for you, either of you. Oh, thank God for that. Ryan G says, I watched Basil Brush as a kid. Thank God for that. Although, what I will say about this is I've seen Basil Brush recently. I don't know if the person that did Basil Brush, I don't know whether he's passed on now, but I remember the voice of the person that did Basil Brush and how brash it was and stuff like that. And when I saw Basil Brush not long ago, it didn't sound like the same fella that was doing it, and it didn't have the same gusto with the boom boom and stuff like that, and the shaking frantically of his head, and it didn't have all that. So, Cooper said, take out the whole politics side of things, and the 1980s were just better than now. Cooper, I say this to a lot of people that I speak to, even my children, I say it to them as well, that things are so much better back in the day when you didn't have all the shit that you've got going on now and all the correctness that goes on with it and shit like that. Back in the day, growing up as a kid was a wonderful experience growing up as a kid. And I grew up in London and it was wonderful. Go to London now and I just think to myself, waste of time, pointless. So for me, I'm with you, mate. And for me, I grew up even earlier than the 80s in London, and life was just much, much better. I enjoyed life back then. There was a lot more old Bill on the streets and that, so you had police everywhere. Didn't and you know if you took the piss out of a copper, he'd clip you around your ear and that, call you cheeky sod and stuff like that. clip you around the ear and whatever, and get on with it. Now you're lucky if you see a copper in any street at all. Now it's all just PCSOs, and police stations are all closed off, and it's civilians working in police stations now, just taking calls and that. Life has changed and moved on, man, and I think for the worst. But there we go. Um, then you've got what's Chang say? The original 1960s Lost in Space were absolutely everywhere on the TV screen in the 80s here in Asia. Even after Star Trek dominated 80s sitcoms, Lost in Space was considered a sci-fi trendsetter. I remember Lost in Space as well. That used to be on a Saturday at 11 in the morning. On a Saturday on ITV, Lost in Space used to be on, and I remember Lost in Space being on because it was always, there was adverts all throughout because ITV's always had the adverts. So Lost in Space was on ITV, 11 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, and Lost in Space. Or am I thinking Space 1999? It might be. I might be thinking of Space 1999 used to be on every Saturday. Yeah, I think I might be talking about Space 1999. But yeah, Lost in Space was from a lot earlier. Yeah, you're right. Um, PC police were only cadets in the 80s. Yeah. Maybe once drainpipes genes stopped, you have testicles camel toe or have to shove it all on one side. Could be dangerous. Um, yeah, V. Do you remember V? I remember V, the Alien film, the Alien series, V. Yep. Loved that as a kid. Um, a good film about how life used to be. Go and watch Scum. It's brutal. Yeah. Daniel E. and Ryan, have you seen the film Scum? It's got Ray Winston in it, but have you seen the film Scum? It's all about being kids being banged up in Borstal. But have you seen Scum? If you've seen Scum, then you'll understand. Um, the other one I was going to say is while you're there talking about Scum, Quadrophenia. Quadrophenia was the top film made back in the day. Daniel Lee, Scum is worth watching. It is worth watching. It's an old film now, but it's well watching. Proper brutal film. Shows you what used to happen in young Borstals, or it tried to depict what used to happen in young Borstals back in the day. Um, it's a top film. It's got to be at least 50 years old. Scum now must be because is it 50? How old's Ray Winston now? Ray Winston's got to be in his 60s, surely. And if it is, it's going to be just under 50 years. If Ray Winston was 70, I would have said it'd be 50 years, but I don't think Ray was 70. So it's over 40 years old, I think, Scum. So yeah, it's well worth watching it. You got another question coming here. Spurs GTV's got me another one, but I just want to go. Audio is saying Scum's a classic. Tequila had young Freddy Krueger in V struggled to take him seriously. Scum isn't a football rival, just to let you know. It's hard. What did Scooby say? It's hard to find the play of it where Ray Carlin has his as a wife. Scum out in '79. So what's that? 21, 40, 45 years ago. I was going to say it can't be up to 50 because that would have made to make it 50. Then my boy Winston would have to be in his 70s, and I don't think he is older than Ben Hur. No, Ben Hur is older. Look at Coover's coming in with it. Dukes of Hazzard, the A Team, Dallas, Magnum, all unmissable back in the day. Limited choice worked well. Dukes of Hazzard used to be on a Saturday after the football scores. After the football scores, Duke of Hazzard would be on. Dukes of Hazzard was before the A Team in sense of an era, but the A Team was on a Saturday night as well. Dallas was also on a Saturday night, but was before, probably before, slightly before the Dukes of Hazzard. Dallas used to be on about 9 o'clock in the evening on a Saturday, and Magnum, I think was on a Sunday, if I remember rightly on ITV. But yeah, you had less choice of what to watch, but you watched everything back then. You didn't have as much choice as you got now. I mean, I got Sky, right? I got Sky, I got TNT, I got all that, all the jazz, uh, legitimate jazz. I haven't got all these fire sticks and that, but I don't know. I must have about 300 to 400 channels on that Sky, and I think to myself, what am I paying for? What am I paying for? I think the films are now terrible on there. I mean, the sport, yeah, the sport, you can see all the sport under the sun, but it's just, yeah, there's not much on there at all. So, yeah, so limited, what he says about the limited stuff that the choices that we had, and it worked out well. It actually did. It actually did. Chris Meta Football says he grew up on all of them. I'm a Hype says TJ Hooker. Um, and he says Rita Sue and Bob too. Kez, yeah, I remember all these. If it's hurting your brain, Dan, ask different questions so we can all answer some different questions. If this is all hurting your brain, mate, happy to do it. Starsky and Hutch, though probably on repeat for me. Starsky and Hutch used to be on a Friday night, I think. Um, TJ Hooker and the Fall Guy, I remember the Fall Guy as well. Zammo and Tucker from Grange Hill. Um, we've had more. We've had a mayor tonight. Me and Ryan. I often think that the same about Sky Jose, not worth the money. What's Kuba saying to me? Um, what's Kuba saying? Do a poll, Jose. Do we want a 12-hour 1980s nostalgia stream? Oh, cool. If you did that, you'd have the whole world on the stream, wouldn't you? Everyone would be coming onto it because everyone knows about the 1980s stuff. Um, God, it'd be a really interesting one to do. Really interesting one to do. Um, I don't know whether we get street cred for it, Coover. Because some of these young uns, mate. Some of these young uns, cool. Right, Chang. All good choices there, Mr. Coover. Knight Rider, Airwolf, 80s Twilight Zone, basically everything and anything considered cool and futuristic for the 80s. TV was my go-to shows. Even Chan was up to it. In a hype is saying chips as well. Roland from Grange Hill from audio. Roland from Grange Hill became a jungle MC for a while in the 90s. Mm. Right, what other question have I got here? I know some more, and they're getting sillier. They're getting sillier. I know that. Uh, here we go. Here we go. It's Spurs GCTV. 80s music. Keep Bench or Sell. Adam and the Ants. Toya or Tubway Army. Okay, I'm gonna be brutally honest. I'm going to need reminding who Tubway Army are. What did Tubway Army sing? Or what did they do? Because I'm going to have to. I can't remember Tubway Army. I know Adam and the Ants. I knew his dad. I knew Adam Ant's dad, but Adam wasn't his real name either. But I knew Adam Ant's dad. Of course, I know Toya. Um, but I can't remember. I can't remember Tubeway Army and what they might have done. Tubeway Army was Gary Newman. All right, I remember Gary Newman. Um, yeah, I remember Gary Newman. Right, keep bench or sell. I'm keeping Toya. I'm gonna bench Adamance, and I'm gonna sell Tubeway Army. And in that, and yeah, I'll do it that in that order. Um, Chris Met Football saying Newman played left back for PSV. Cheers, Chris. Silliness from Chris. Yeah, so that's me for that the 80s one. I would keep Toya, bench Adam and the Ants, and sell Tubeway Army. What? No comment from Daniel. What are you guys saying? Anyone that remembers the 80s? Keep Tubeway Army for Spurs GCTV. bench Adamant and sell Toya. Mmm. Interesting. Interesting. I suppose we need the young uns and Daniel and Ryan to put some of their own stuff in there. Oh, cool. I've just seen yours come through. Sell the lot, Jose, is what Ryan's saying. Right, next one. The Sweeney or the professionals? Sweeney all day, 3 times on a Saturday, 7 on a Sunday. Sweeney all the way for me. God! Yeah, it's Sweeney for me all the way. I'll enjoy the professionals. I enjoyed the professionals with Bodie and Doyle and that, but for me, it's all about Regan and Carter, mate. The Sweeney. Yeah, I'm going to say the Sweeney for me. What say the older lot in here who probably all remember this? Tequila says he's got to do some research um on Cougars. You're joking, ain't you? You're joking. There's no research had to be done at all. I remember all three. I remember all three. In a hype says Tales of the Unexpected. Fantastic. In a hype says Tales of the Unexpected. So what are we coming in with? We got any people coming in with anything for the Sweeney and the professionals? Apart from Spurs GCTV, that is because you asked the question. So I'm just wondering if anybody else has got a preference for either one of these two. So yeah, you're coming in, Sweeney, with Sweeney Graham. Yeah, okay, I understand that. Tequila says, just an excuse to look at them all again. Yeah, I bet it is, son. I bet it is. Uh, not many people are answering this, but I'm going to go Sweeney, same as you, Graham. And as I said, In the Hype's coming in with Tales Unexpected. Chris Meta Football's coming with the professionals. Interesting. Interesting. Um, yeah, the Sweeney from Couva. It says, got to have some shouty George. Yeah, I'm saying that as well. I like both, but I've got to say it's got to be the Sweeney for me. Right, Couva's coming with right Sam Fox, Linda Lasardi, or Maria Whitaker. Is this a keep, bench, and sell, Couva? Is that what you're asking me? If it is a keep, bench, and sell, then I know how I would answer this. In a hype saying the good life. Okay, the good life. Smithy to the rescue, Ryan G saying. Huh? Audio artisan. Yeah, okay. Right, audio, you'll have to redo it again, mate. It's a keep, bench, and sell, right? So on these three, I'd keep Maria Whitaker, I'd bench Linda Lasardi, and I'd sell Sam Fox. But I'd keep Maria Whitaker. I thought Maria Whitaker was absolutely gorgeous. Petite and everything. So yeah, I'm Smithy. Go and check these three out. Go and check Sam Fox, Linda Lasardi, and Maria Whitaker out. You might be a little baby and might not remember these three ladies. So for you, Smithy, a bit of homework for you. Go and check out Fox, Lasardi, and Whitaker, and then give us your keep, bench, and sell. Yeah. So in a hype, I think is selling Sam Fox. He's keeping Linda Lasardi and he's benching Maria Whitaker. I'm presuming that Inner Hype's doing that because Inner Hype's just put sell, keep, bench. Um, right, yeah, so I think that's the order he's gone in. Audio, Coover, it'd be interesting to get your answer. He'd keep Sam, bench Linda, and sell Maria. Ooh, controversial. Controversial. But yeah, for you young'uns, go and have a look. Samantha Fox, Linda Lusardi, Maria Whitaker, and then tell us your answer. Who you keeping, who you benching, and you selling out of the three of them? Spurs GCTV is what's he going for? Spurs GCTV is keeping Lisa or Linda. He meant keeping Linda Lusardi. He's benching Maria Whitaker and he's selling Sam Fox. So he's gone. We're selling the same person, but we're benching and keeping two different people. Kuva's going. I keep Lusardi. Couldn't care the less after that. To be honest, Linda was gorgeous. Yeah, she was. But I felt Maria Whitaker had everything. I felt she had the whole lot, the whole package, and that she wasn't. Linda Lusardi was a good-looking lady, but I just felt that Maria Whitaker had something about her. It'd be interesting to see photographs of them now and see who's kept themselves the best out of the three of them, because I don't think Maria Whitaker has appeared many times since. I've seen Linda Lusardi, and she's kept herself really well. I've not seen Sam Fox, and I definitely haven't seen Maria Whitaker since the 80s and 90s. So, um, who you got here? Lusardi, not Lisa. Yeah, I know. I gathered that. Um, Ryan and Daniel, if you haven't seen Sam Fox, you can be classed. If you haven't seen Sam Fox, you can't be being classed as men yet. That rule was on page 3 of the UK legislation. True fact. Ryan and Daniel, if you haven't seen Sam Fox, you can't. Okay, yeah, he's repeated it again. Um, Ryan G is saying he would definitely keep Maria Whitaker. So he's actually looked these up now. He would definitely keep Maria Whitaker, but he's benching Sam Fox and he's selling Lusardi. Oh, look at it. It's my man David Shire. And what I've done is I've starred you um, for you. But yeah, for you, Mr. Shire, because you'll remember these three. I'm sure you remember these three ladies. Um, David, who you keeping, who you benching, and who you selling, right? Out of Sam Fox, Linda Lusardi, and Maria Whitaker. Oh, so Smithy's gone and looked it up. Look, we've done well. Smithy's gone and looked it up because Smithy's got an answer. Um, where's Smithy? Smithy had an answer. I saw it a minute ago. Ah, here we go. He's going, keep the Fox. She looks milfy. Bench Lisa and sell Lusardi. Hmm. Interesting, interesting. Inner Hype says doggy style, pretzel dip, and flirtation. And audio saying, I remember Mandy Smith. She was one of my first crushes. Daniel Lee says, I've seen Sam Fox if it makes me a man. Tequila. Look, look. I'm still here just doing my research. Even Ellie's got in on the act. Ellie is going for, she's keeping Sam Fox, benching Lusardi, and selling Whitaker. Ooh. David Shear has come in and said that he's keeping Maria Whitaker, benching Sam Fox, and selling Asadi when women were vavavoom. God, David, it must be early in the morning, but that must have got you right. Thinking about these three must have just got you going, woo! I'm ready for the day now. I'm ready for the day now. Fantastic. Um, Ellie Chang was in the chat earlier. I'm not sure whether he's messaged you about coming on tomorrow at 11 with you, and then you both flying off to Kate's after. I'm not sure. You might have to message him on WhatsApp, but he said he was interested. But that's up to you because it's your show. You're doing whatever you want to do. Um, what's he saying? Typo, Faniel E screw. I'm going to roll with it. Call me Faniel from now on. Chris is saying bed them all. Oh look, hello David. Big up. Does Maria Whitaker do it for you then? Ryan G says, I've just gone to get some tissues after seeing Maria Whittaker. Spurs GCTV has got some fucking questions in it. Right, I don't know, but it's like getting Smithy is like woken up now. So his ears got a lot better now. As soon as he's hearing these people's names that you lot are giving, it's giving Smithy a reason to act and be awake. And his head's going ding 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 ding. He's on it now. And it looks like Ryan G. It's woken Ryan G up as well because Ryan G's done a bit of homework. Still yet to hear what homework results we've got from Tequila because he's gone away and he's just not come back, has he? Um, oh, right, what we got next? Uh, David Sear says, Cobber, I've got one for you. Is the sky black? It is tonight. It is at the moment. If I go out there, all you can see is darkness if I go out there now. So I think, the sky is black, sir. If you're asking me that question now, I've got it. It is black. So that's my answer for you, mate. It is black. It is black. Um, Anyone else answering it? Oh, while you lot are here, I forgot housekeeping. Hit that like button or whatever. Yeah, hit the like button. Housekeeping. Hit the like button. Um, what you got? You've got Smithy is locked in. Is what Ryan's saying. Joe Guest and Wendy James from Transvision Vamp for David Shear. So there's another two to look at for you youngsters. It's Joe Guest and Wendy James from Transvision Vamp is what David Shear is saying. I'm fully locked into this, Jose. Smithy Heaven. Um, Daniel is not doing any homework. I'm a hype says doing homework or having a good think. Yeah, I don't know what Tequila's doing, but Tequila more than 3 minutes away is a toss cobber. All right, here we go. He's back. Right. Research concluded. He's keeping Whitaker. He's selling Fox. And sorry, he's benching. Yeah. So no, he's keeping Whitaker. Okay. He's keeping Whitaker. Right. Selling Fox and keeping Linda. So which one's going on the bench, Tequila? Or are you going for having two at the same time, son? Because you can only keep one bench one and yeah, get rid of one. He's benching Linda. So okay, so he's keeping Whitaker, benching Linda, and selling Fox. Metal Football TV says after the last question and subsequent research field trip, the viewer count took a massive drop. Right, right, you boys have had your tissue fun. I want to know from the real men who would you keep, bench, or sell? Oh, here we go. I'm going to save that one just in case. Just let me save that one for a minute. Wendy James, Wendy James, Wendy James. And you're a funny lady, right? I'm very slow. Mentioning that all for nothing. Right. So the next question we had, right? I'm going to take that one out and I'm going to go in order. So Spurs GCTV, Arsenal winning the league or hand feeding a T Rex? I'm hand feeding a T Rex. But with the T Rex I'm hand feeding, right? What people fail to understand is we tranquilize the fucker, right? We tranquilized the fucker before I fed it. So I'm hand feeding the T Rex. That's my answer on that one. So it gets me past the Arsenal winning the league. It gets me past the Arsenal winning the league by doing that. Um, Hand feeding text T Rex Arteta style. Hand feeding T Rex Arteta style from David Shear. Ryan G is hand feeding the T Rex. Spurs GCTV Graham saying he's T Rex in it all day. To feed the T Rex, some Arsenal fans. Feed the T Rex, some Arsenal fans. Yeah, that's another one. T-Rex, poor thing, can't feed itself. So I think I've got quite a few people that are going for the T-Rex and T-Rex all day long. If he, the fucker, ate me, at least I died at me knowing arse poo don't win zilch. I'm not doing your keep, bench, or sell, you nutter, because you keep doing the same thing every week. I'm not doing it. Right, here we go. Ellie says, right, you boys, I've had your tissue fun. I want to know from the real men, who would you keep, bench, or sell out of David Hasselhoff, Cliff Richard, and Donny Osmond? All right, I'm going to make this one quite easy. I'm going to say I'm going to keep David Hasselhoff. I'm going to bench Donny Osmond, and I'm going to sell Cliff Richard. Right, David Hasselhoff. The reason why I'd keep him is the geezer is fucking. He's off the ball. He's absolutely mad. He's as mad as a box of frogs. He's mental, mad. David Hasselhoff. So I'd keep David Hasselhoff because he's just he's unstable. He's just absolutely a lunatic. So I'd keep him. I think he'd be it'd either drive you insane or you'd piss yourself laughing with him because he's absolutely, as I said, mad as a box of frogs. So I'd keep Hasselhoff. I'd bench Donny Osmond because I don't know, Donny Osmond's a little petite, chubby boy, and you could probably have a good laugh with Donny Osmond. Cliff Richard, I find too stiff, man. I've always found Cliff Richard like to be a stiffy, too stiff, and all proper and stuff like that. And for me, yeah, he's not someone that I reckon I could have a laugh with. So I'd have to clearly sell Cliff Richard. But David Hasselhoff, because he's as mad as a box of frogs, he'd by my side all day long. As I said, it'd either drive me mad or just make me laugh completely. It's one of the two spectrums with him because he is off the wall. Um, but yeah, I'd do that. So Ellie, see, I did ask you a question, um, and you have got answers from Graham. He said he'd keep Donny, he'd bench the Hoff, and he'd bin Cliff. Ryan G says he would keep Hasselhoff, bench Osmond, and sell Cliff. Um, David Shear saying, damn, OJ dying and leaving us the Kardashians. Um, what's Ellie saying now? I see you're thinking hard and low there, but yes, the Hoff is a G, right? Chris Meta Football says, sell Hoff, sell Cliff, sell Osmond. But thanks for the great question, Queenie. He's selling all three. Smithy says, Hoff sounds like my type of geezer. Would bench Cliff because when it rains at Wimbledon, we need him to sing us a song for tequila. Oh, no. Um, Kuba is saying he'd keep the Hoff, bench Donny purely for crazy horses, and Cliff Richards is well dodgy and will probably see his name for the wrong reason after he pops his clogs, to be honest. Ben, good evening, Ben. How are you, mate? Hope you're well. He said he'd keep Ben to sell for Smithy and Co. Okay, let me save that one. Sorry, I wasn't reading it. Um, Ellie, Cliff Richard has a stiffy now. That would be a sight to behold. No, I said he's like stiff. He's like a wooden top, isn't he? He's just he's just not. Doesn't seem like a really fun person. Do you know what I mean? So he doesn't strike me as a person that you could have fun with, type thing, and a laugh and a giggle and all that. He's just too wooden top for me. Got a question in from Ben, and Ben has done this. This is probably to help out Smithy, Ryan G, and Daniel Lee. So thank you, Ben, for helping out our three young ones in the chat. But he says keep bench yourself for Smithy and Co. Cameron Diaz, Kate Upton, and Scarlett Johansson. Right, I must admit, I've heard of one. I know one of them. I've heard of another, and the third one I ain't got a clue. Daniel Lee says finally three people I've heard of. Thank you, Ben, for a proper question. Ryan G says the same as Daniel, so he's agreeing with Daniel. Um, right, Dan, you got to give me three. You can't just tell me one of them. I'm going to have to look one of them up. I don't even know who one of them is. I've heard of one's name, I think. I know one of them. One of them I've heard their name, and the other one I've never heard of. I don't know. I'll have to look them up. Whilst that chat are answering it, I'm going to look this person up. I ain't got a clue who this person is. Right, she's a model and an actress, this one. Right, that's that one. Okay. That's the other ones. She's a bit older now, isn't she? Okay. And the other one is. Oh, okay. Right, now I know the three are. Bloody hell. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Right, now I think I know what I've got. Right, so before I see what the chat have put in there, I'm keeping Kate Upton, the one that I didn't know nothing about. But just by looking quickly now, I think I'd keep Kate Upton. I'd probably. It's a tough call. I'd probably bench. It's gonna be tough. I'll probably bench Cameron Diaz and I'll sell Scarlett Johansson. But out of the three, it's Kate Upton for me. I know Cameron Diaz. I didn't. I've heard of Scarlett Johansson. Kate Upton, I didn't even know who it was. I had to check to see who it was. But I'd probably keep Kate Upton to be honest. Um, uh, Daniel E saying he keeps Scarlett Johansson all day. Ryan G is keeping Diaz, benching Johansson, and selling Upton. Smithy is keeping Diaz, benching Scarlett, selling Upton. Scarlett to keep, Kate to bench, sell Diaz for David Shear. Tequila said, keep Diaz, bench Scarlett, sell Upton, mainly because I think of Upton Park. Uh, use a use a pick in Cameron Diaz over Scarlett Johansson. What? No, I'm picking Kate Upton in front of all of them. Answer: don't want any of them, but if I have to answer, I'd keep Scarlett, bench Cam, sell Megatatis Upton. Cameron Diaz is your Southerners say, prop that fucking salt. uh, Kate Upton will hold her own in Fox's company, Jose. Right, Kuva is saying, I'd keep Scarlett, bench Upton, sell Diaz. Diaz would probably choose Liverpool over us anyway. uh, Ben said he's picked him because he went for three blondes. Ellie is saying, what's Ellie saying? Keep Diaz, she's well hot. Bench Johnson as Diaz eats her for brekkie. And Upton, who the hell are you? Who are ya? Who are ya? Okay. Chris Teresi Tequila. Tequila is saying, Tequila, tell Jose which websites you used earlier so he can check Upton out. Tequila said, I will have to DM think then, lol. FHM, here we go. FHM, great fun mag back in the day. Have a few deck of cards. Okay. And yeah, so Tequila's still looking. Tequila's still looking, and it's keep bench yourself for Cameron Diaz, Kate Upton, or Scarlett Johansson. It is one of those tree. Some of you lot get me into trouble, especially you, Mr. Shear. You leave me down a cut down and cough. Mr. Shear is saying Bigtits.com, Jose. Right. I'm just waiting on Tequila's answer. As soon as we get Tequila's answer, I'll move on to yours, Ellie. And I'll probably only take another couple after that, and then I'm going to call it a night because it's 10 past midnight and I've got work in the morning. Is Tequila coming back with his answer yet? Come on, Tequila, we want your answer. Tequila will be 3 minutes. Thanks, Chris. Chris is timing him at the moment. Sorry, but so funny. No, David, don't worry about it, mate. You have a scream wherever you go, son. You have a scream wherever you go. That was for sure Daniel. She was unreal in that film. Right, Tequila we're waiting on. Is Tequila back in the room? Has he come back? 3 minutes? Is that enough time for Tequila to get the tissues out, put the magazines away, and bring the sample bottle back to us? I don't know. I am here. Tequila, what's your answer then on them three ladies? What's your just nipped out the back, but short of 3 minutes. Oh yeah. What's your answer, Tequila? Is what we were asking for. You got to keep bench and sell out of these three. Cameron Diaz, Kate Upton, and Scarlett Johansson. They're the three that we were given. And I'm a hype is here, so he just nipped out to the bank. Any of them three, which one would you keep, bench, and sell? I'm a hype. Based on their peak, he would keep Diaz. Sell Upton and bench Scarlett. Right, Tequila. I didn't get a chance to do it the way that you did it. I wish I had. I just went by what they look like now and just picked mine like that from what I thought from what they look like now. And in all honesty, Tequila, I know Cameron Diaz. Never ever heard of Kate Upton. I have heard of Scarlett Johansson. But I had to look them up. I did. I had to look them up because I didn't know who they all were. So, um, when your title show, Jose mops up, is this the sort of activity you meant, Jose? I don't know, to be honest, Kuva, but I have got a mop and bucket apparently in my hand. I look like a cleaner or a janitor, and it appears that there's a hell of a lot of fucking mopping up that needs to be done tonight by some of the actions that these people are taking. They keep disappearing off for 3 minutes and coming back. There probably would be a hell of a lot to mop up, to be honest. Hype says it bench, keep, and sell in that order. So bench, keeping, and selling means that you're benching Cameron Diaz, you're selling Kate Upton, and you're keeping Scarlett Johansson. Yeah. So that's the order for you. Let me get to the comments that were coming in because I saw Daniel. He says, if it's based on what they look like now, it's definitely Scarlett Johansson. What are people smoking? Smoking. Tequila says, Diaz is getting on a bit, Jose. Really not fair to do them today, matey. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Some people like the older woman. Tequila. Right. Save that one. And then we've got Ryan G. Spot on. Based on today, Scarlett's an easy win. Right. I just looked up Kate Upton, and if I were a fella boy, I'd have some fun with her. I went for I went for Kate Upton. She's the one that I didn't know out of the three. Um, yeah, this is back in the day. Hong Kong Fooey, the mild-mannered janitor. Hong Kong Fooey, never met a super guy. Hong Kong Fooey. Yeah. No kidding, Jose. I checked out Maria, Sam, and Linda again, and now my curtains look like Terry Lee Dunker exploded on them. Oh, yeah. Ryan G is saying, I'd have some fun with any of them, Kate. Don't know who he's talking to. I don't know who he's talking to. I'd have some fun with any of them, Kate. Okay, I don't know. Tequila, Kate Upton has the best assets. Tequila, you might need to go, right? I don't know whether you wear glasses or not. I do, obviously. But you may need to go and look at all three of them again. And I think some of you other fellas might need to go and look at all three of them again, because some of you fellas, I reckon you're walking around with shit in your eyes. But there we go. That's just my opinion. 90s edition is more difficult, right? So I am gonna two questions and then I'm gonna call it a night. So you've got Ellie saying, how about Miss Piggy, Cruella Deville, or Diana Ross? What? Keep bench or sell, Ellie? Keep bench or sell these three? I'd if it's a keep bench or sell, I'm keeping Diana Ross all day long. I'll probably bench Cruella and I'd sell Miss Piggy. If that's what you're asking me to do, keep bench or sell on these three. That's what I'm doing. And then right, so now I've got to look at the other ones that Ben's just sent through, just in case people are answering this, because I ain't got a clue where some of these are. So, all right. Oh, I know this one. I know the first one. Right. I'm going to bring up Ben's in a minute. There. Loved Hong Kong Fooey. What did he say? Jose, Scarlett Johansson is a very famous actress. Where have you been living? Under a rock, mate? I certainly have. I've been living under a rock, mate. Under Ange Postecoglou's rock, mate. Tequila is selling Miss Piggy. Kermit hurt me if I would touch her. Ben is keeping Diana Ross, of course. Benching Miss Piggy, but selling Cruella. Keep the Piggy for Kuva. Bench Ross, sell Deville. Daniel is saying, nope, sorry, Scarlett Johansson now. And I seem to be one of the only same people right now. I take back my previous. I'm not having any more mayor reviews or having a mayor. Snoopy saying, keeps Diana, benches Deville, sells the Piggy, same as me. Audio saying, Diana Ross was a proper sort back in the day. Summer, Ben, every day of the week. I'm not even looked at these women yet. I'm going to have to look. So, what's Chris is saying, Chris Meta is saying, keep Diana Ross, sell Cruella, bench Miss Piggy. Same as what I said. What's he saying? I agree with you for the right, Daniel, but Diaz is better her in her pomp. Right, so the two that I've got left, and then that's it. Who's going to be the last one I'm going to do? Right, so Ben Kaufman has said, keep bench sell a 90s edition, right, of Jennifer Aniston, Salma Hayek, and Elizabeth Hurley. Right, so I'm just looking at them now to remind me. I know two of these. I don't know a third one. I know two of them, and I know who I thought I would have picked before I looked at the photographs. Right, it's the second one coming up. Okay, and then the last one I've got to look at is shit. Who's that one? Oh yeah. Okay. I have my answer, Ben. I have my answer. I have my answer now. All right. If I'm going for these ones, right, I actually thought I was going to say Elizabeth Hurley, but I've now looked, and for me, I'm going Salma Hayek 3 times on a Saturday, 7 on a Sunday, keeping Salma Hayek. I'm actually going to bench Jennifer Aniston and I'm going to sell Elizabeth Hurley. I didn't think I'd sell Elizabeth Hurley, but looking at the other two now and looking at them when they were younger, I think because I remember Hurley and I remember Aniston, but I don't remember Salma Hayek until I saw the photographs. But yeah, for me, Salma Hayek all day long. Jennifer Aniston is being benched, and Liz Hurley is being sold. Sold. Um, Danny Lee saying, there we go. Who we got? Right, Lee Smithy Smith. What's he gone for? Sam was right up my street. Bench Jennifer, sell Hurley. Fucking hell, Lee. Lee's gone the same way as me again. Careful, Jose David Shear says. Uh, can I just say I hate having to sell any of these. um, Spurs GCTV is keeping Salma, benching Hurley, and selling Aniston. So we've gone differently on the bench and the sales. Cooper says Salma and Prime Liz. I can't possibly choose. Need to keep both. Chris is keep Liz, bench Jenny, and hide Salma for later. Ooh. Tequila's saying Salma all day, every day. Go watch Dusk Till Dawn and then come back, Jose. Salma bloody predictive. Keep, bench, and sell. So if he's gone like that, I'm a hype. So he's keeping Jennifer Aniston, benching Salma, and selling Elizabeth Hurley. I had to go back and look because what order they were in. Salma Hayek is fully Lee Smithy Smith material. Tequila is saying bench Hurley, keep Salma, sell Jennifer. there's no right or wrong answers because they're all very nice people. Ryan G says keep Sam Hayek. What a milf. Bench Jennifer, sell Hurley. He's gone the same route. Prime Jennifer Aniston in Friends was something else, is what Ben's saying. Kuva. Big up Jose for hosting a very important and in-depth football discussion again. The Mop Up show is not just football. The Mop Up show is mess around. I taught the football at the start of the show. The mop up that needed to be done. And damn right, Ben. You got Benji. You got a number. He's saying here. Some of these ladies I'm finding have a very high XW. Right. So that was Ben's. Now, last one. Here we go. Classic quick question. Wilma Flintstone or Betty Rubble? Betty all the way for me. Right. Even Ryan and Daniel must remember who these two people are. So one had brown hair and one had blondie kind of hair. It's Wilma Flintstone or Betty Rubble. Wilma Flintstone or Betty Rubble? What say you, the chat? What say you, the chat? Tequila. Good night, everyone. Good night, Ben. Take care, mate. I know you got workies as well tomorrow. So good night, mate. Thank you for popping in. Graham's got to go. Says got to go. Night, Jose. Night. Good night, Graham. Take care, mate. Be good. See you tomorrow, pal. So Wilma Flintstone is the one with the brown hair, and Betty Rubble was the one with the blonde hair. One was married to Fred, and the other one was married to Barney. I am gonna take. If I have to pick one of the two, yeah, I'm gonna run with Betty Rubble as well. I'm gonna run with the blondie one rather than the brown one. She had a really pointed nose, Wilma Flintstone, if I remember rightly. So yeah, so I'm going for Betty Rubble. Who we got? We got Tequila says Betty was probably is the most beautiful woman alive. Okay, fair enough. Okay. Lee Smithy says I'd say Betty from what I remember. Smithy, it's alarming how you keep going the same. No, I do, son. because I'm not looking at the chat, so I don't know what people have said until I get to the chat. Fred ain't letting her go, Jose. What the point? He knows one. Wilma cooks a mean brontosaurus burger, says I'm a hype. But he had the dark hair. But I thought Wilma had dark hair as well. Is Betty the shorter one of the two in height? I know Barney was, so it's stupid saying that really, but I think Betty was the shorter one out of the two ladies in height as well. So yeah, I'm sticking with what I said of Betty. Betty. Um, I actually said on jest that I was stepping away for a few days, but after this I might actually do a tomfoolery show. Family seem to like it. I don't know if you're talking to me. I don't know what you're referring to, Chris. So I ain't got a clue. Um, Betty had the dark hair. Wilma cooks him in Bronxville burger. Betty had dark hair. That's what I thought. Yes, Betty was a short one. Yes, so I'm going for the short one. I do remember the two that we're talking about, and I'm going for the short one of the two, and that was Betty, who I thought it was anyway. Wilma had red hair. Okay, fair enough. And Ellie says, Wilma or Betty, whoever is Greek out of the two gets my vote. Brown hair is more Greek, so Wilma Flintstone. That's an interesting way of looking at it. Interesting way of looking at it. Either I'm not fussy from Jono. Jono doesn't matter who it is, he'll go for either one. Uh, I can just imagine what David Shearer is saying there. I can just imagine. I'll let you in the chat imagine as well. But David Shearer certainly put a comment there. But that's it, folks. I've come to the end of the questions that you've asked. Oh, God, I'm getting tired. I've got to go work. Hate Friday tomorrow. God, let's get Friday out of the way. Right, everyone in the chat and everyone that's been on, thank you for watching. On your way out, if you can, hit the like button as well. It'd be much appreciated. Tomorrow we have predictions at 4 p.m. BST. So all the prediction show will be on tomorrow. So come and come tomorrow at 4 o'clock for the predictions. If some of you missed the predictions, then there are other ways of leaving your predictions. I will explain it on the show tomorrow. So if you watch back, or you can fast forward it, you'll find out the other ways that you can leave predictions. So that's the show tomorrow at 4 o'clock, and then I'm doing. So it's the dual show, but I'm doing it from Eltel Cockerel tomorrow, and then we are doing the watch along on Saturday for the Newcastle game, which is going to be an early one for us here in England. It's a 12:30 kickoff. So around the world for you guys. So David, I think you're 7 hours in front at the moment. So if I'm right, then it's 7:30 for you, David. So that makes it'll be 7:30 in the evening for you, the kickoff on Saturday, I think, if I'm right. In India, it will be 6 o'clock because they're 4.5 hours. So 5 o'clock. I think in India they're currently 4.5 hours ahead. So it'll be 5 o'clock. And in North America, it's a 6 or 7 hour swing, depending on what part of America you're in. So that would make it 6:30 in the morning kickoff for some Americans and 5:30 in the morning for some Americans. So they're the times for the match on Saturday around the world from the kind of people that we get that come on the YouTube Spurs channels. So yeah, if you're interested, come tomorrow at 4 o'clock to LTEL for the prediction show. Sorry, and tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock in the morning on LTEL. Of course, I forgot. You have LTEL show at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. I did see the thumbnail. Where's the thumbnail gone? The thumbnail's been created for that show. And tomorrow it's 11 o'clock in the morning, and it will be Ellie and guests. Ellie's going to be hosting the show. So Ellie will be on LTEL tomorrow hosting the show, and it will be, yeah. So I don't know who her guests are for tomorrow, but tomorrow it's all, yeah. I was just seeing the thumbnail. Thumbnail's there. It's for 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, and that'll be Ellie and guests at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning BST for people that can make that. And then we have 4 o'clock show on LTEL for predictions tomorrow, and then Saturday it will be half an hour before kickoff. I'll do a watch along on LTEL. So yeah, hit the notification bell if you want to come and watch some more stuff on LTEL. And yeah, as I said, thank you all very much for coming on tonight and giving me a watch, and that's much appreciated. Um, couldn't do it without you. You need to chat in order to do it. So yeah, big up yourselves. Well done, all of you. And I'm gonna bid you all good night and good morning for you, David. David, I hope you have a really pleasant day, a good day today, sir. And for everybody else who's on English or European time, please take care of yourselves. Have I wish you a peaceful sleep and that. Get yourselves rested. Tomorrow's another day, so get yourselves rested. And I'm going to say goodbye. And as I say that, I'm going to play us out with a song that I can't find anywhere because I don't know what he's done, but he's changed everything around. So I was going to play out with that song, but I don't know where he's put it. It's good, isn't it? He must have been in it. Oh my God, what's he done with it? Okay, I don't know what he's done with it. So I'm just going to bid everyone goodbye and end the stream there. So take care, everyone. Come on, you